Nick Saban has openly expressed that he is concerned and worried about this LSU game. So my question to you guys is, are you concerned? Who would have thought in a million years that the Alabama-LSU game, one of the best rival matchups of the past 10 to 15 years, it would be getting overshadowed by a Tennessee football game? If I would have told you 5 years ago that the Alabama and LSU game would be getting overshadowed by any Tennessee game, you'd have thought I lost my mind. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistakes about it. I know that the Georgia-Tennessee game is the one that everybody's looking forward to. I'm a Bama fan and I'm looking forward to that one the most. But Alabama and LSU, it's not like Alabama's just good or LSU's good. They're both in the top 10. It would make a lot more sense if Alabama was a top 5 team and LSU, they were having a bad season. But the fact this is a top 10 matchup and it's not getting any recognition blows my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a Bama fan, of course, you're looking forward to this game. And if you're an LSU fan, of course, you're looking forward to it as well. But outside of that, nobody cares. And once again, I got to go back to it. I understand why nobody cares. I understand why nobody's talking about this game. It's because of the Tennessee and Georgia matchup. I've already talked a lot about that game, and I'm also going to talk about my prediction in that game in the preview video tonight. I don't want to say everyone is chalking this up as an easy win for Alabama, and they think Alabama's going to cruise in this game, but I would say 8 out of 10 people, maybe 9 out of 10 believe that. Everyone's just automatically assuming, okay, LSU's got Brian Kelly, first-year head coach. Alabama, they got Bryce Young. They're still pissed off they lost to Tennessee. They're going to go into Baton Rouge, and they're going to walk away with an easy win. But, and I have a big but, Nick Saban believes otherwise. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Nick Saban has expressed how challenging this game is going to be. And Nick Saban is really worried about this one thing. What's that one thing, you may ask? We're going to talk all about it in this video. We're not doing no intro, none of that. We got to get into this. We don't got time to waste. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, wait. First things first, we actually got 2 topics in this video. The main topic being Nick Saban. But the first one, got to talk about what Deion tweeted out this morning. As we all know, Deion Sanders, the head coach of Jackson State, it's looking like he's going to be a leading candidate for that Auburn job. I'm not going to dive into all that mess, but he did address something about it on Twitter. And this is why I say that clout is one heck of a drug, because you got people just making up lies and rumors for clicks and views. It doesn't really bother me, but there's actually going to be people that see this and read it and they believe it. This post I'm about to read off to you, it got over 2,000 likes and it's false. This person tweeted out, breaking, in all caps like he knows something. Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders has been confirmed to be taking a flight tomorrow to Atlanta Airport. Atlanta Airport is the nearest major airport to Auburn University, which is rumored to have ties to Coach Prime. Will Deion be the next head coach for Auburn? When I first read that, it was fishy off the bat. You know why I thought it was fishy? Because why would Deion Sanders be flying commercial to Atlanta? I don't think that Primetime's a Greek god, but I also don't believe he's going to fly commercial to go to Atlanta, then make the drive over to Auburn, Alabama. That just doesn't happen for any head coach. He's not a regular person, and if Auburn was wanting him to come out, he would fly private, just like any other big-time head coach. That's how I knew from the jump it was total BS. But here's what Deion said about it only a few hours ago. He quote tweeted it and said, "A lie, don't care who tells it. Just ask me and everyone knows I'm honest default. Hashtag Coach Prime." This is why I like Prime. He's 100% right. He even stated it on game day when they asked him if he's going to entertain all these Power 5 jobs, and he said yes. I don't get the vibes that he's going to try to snake over a team, player, or any program. He tells it how it is, and he has no reason to lie. I did want to share that with y'all, and also he tweeted out this, and I really like it. If you're looking for motivation or just a great human being, follow Coach Prime on Twitter. He posts a lot of great stuff. Here's what he tweeted out at 5:30 a.m. this morning. "The noise in your life is a distraction to cause you to lose focus. Turn the volume down and cut off the voices of 'I've never seen that word in my life.' Pressure reveals and time kills those that pressure reveals. It's not time to lose your consistency or direction. Let's go." The stuff he tweets about, it's not just college football stuff, but you can apply it to your everyday life. That's why I like him. He's a leader of men. But with that being said, we got to get on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, Nick Saban. Well, not just Nick Saban. We got to talk about Alabama. Oh yeah, by the way, before we get into it, I'm going to be making my prediction on this game later tonight in the preview video, but most of y'all know that. As to where it stands at this current moment in time, and I don't really think it's is going to change too much, Alabama is a 13.5-point favorite. I would say that's pretty reasonable, even though it is on the road in Baton Rouge and it's also a night game. This is common knowledge if you're from the Southeast or keep up with college football. A night game in Baton Rouge is one of the toughest environments to play in. Do I think it'd be tougher than what Alabama had to play in Neyland Stadium against Tennessee? Not even close. Regardless of that, it's not going to be easy, especially if you get behind in the game. The way to take the crowd out of the game is if you just go out there and take care of business from the first half on. Where you could struggle and where Alabama could struggle, we saw it in the Texas game and we saw it in the Tennessee game, is if you don't execute and if you make mistakes. That's where Alabama can find themselves in a rut. Fortunately enough for Alabama, even if you are in a rut, you got the best quarterback in the country, so you should be okay. We're not here to talk about the Alabama offense, though. We know they're going to score points. It doesn't matter who they're playing. I want to read off to you what Nick Saban had to say about this game on Wednesday. Saban stated, "This is a very challenging game. They're playing as well as anyone in the country. And here's the key part. Jaden Daniels is probably as good as a quarterback passing and running as any you'll face." Nick Saban said that yesterday, which was November 2nd. Why am I bringing that up? Because nearly 2 weeks ago, I tweeted out this: that LSU-Alabama game in 2 weeks is going to be more interesting than what most people think. Jaden Daniels will give that Bama defense problems. You heard it here first. I said that 2 weeks ago, and it's looking like Nick Saban is thinking the same thing that I was thinking. All throughout this year, especially early on in this year, all I heard from LSU fans and everyone in the SEC is that Jaden Daniels, he doesn't look that good. But when I watch him, I see otherwise. When I watch him, I see a guy who looks really good at times. And I don't even think it's debatable at this point. He is the third best quarterback in the SEC, and that's a great honor because the two guys ahead of him, one won the Heisman Trophy, and the other one looks like he might win it this year as well. Now, is Jaden Daniels a great passer? No, he's a good passer, but not a great one. But what separates him and what makes him really, and I mean really scary, is that dual threat ability. Think about it, guys. Come on. What type of quarterbacks give Nick Saban problems? Dual threat quarterbacks. And when I say dual threat, I don't want you to get misunderstood about this. I'm not talking about a Tim Tebow or a Cam Newton. I'm talking about the guys like a Deshaun Watson, a Trevor Lawrence, or a Joe Burrow, where yeah, they want to pass, but they can also run if they need to or want to. And that's the misconception. When people hear dual threat, they think of a guy who's going to pass the ball 20 times and run 20 times. But no. Being a dual threat quarterback doesn't mean you're going to be like Tim Tebow running the ball 25 times per game, but it means you're going to have 5-10 big-time scrambles. That's a dual threat quarterback. A great example of what I'm trying to get to and talk about is like Hendon Hooker. When you think of Hendon Hooker, you don't think of a guy that's going to scramble 15 times a game, but I would label him as a dual threat quarterback. Whenever the play breaks down and when Tennessee needs him to scramble, he can do so. And I'll even go as far as to saying that Stetson Bennett, he's a dual threat quarterback. That's the most underrated part about Bennett's game and why Georgia wants him to be the starting quarterback, because of his legs. Stetson DoorDash Bennett is a poor man's Johnny Manziel. Speaking of Johnny Manziel, same thing. He's going to throw the ball 35 times, but he's going to have about 7 to 8 scrambles that break your back. I say all that to lead up to this. Jaden Daniels is similar to those guys. He's a dual threat. And out of all those guys I just named off, Johnny Manziel, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, yada, 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 all the quarterbacks that have beat Alabama, Jaden Daniels might be the best runner out of all of them. Here's what makes him so good, and it's the reason that Nick Saban is worried about this game, and I understand it 100%. We'll just take a look at the last game against Ole Miss. 21 for 28, 250 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, a QBR of right at 84, but he also had 23 carries for 121 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that last game alone against Ole Miss, it tells you everything you need to know. This is what I hate about Jaden Daniels, though. Everybody tries to say, oh, well, yeah, he's a great runner, but he can't really pass. Well, let's take a look at the worst game where Tennessee blew him out at home. Jaden Daniels completed an outstanding completion of his passes. He had 32 out of 45 completions. In that game against Tennessee, 300 yards. Granted, Tennessee has one of the worst passing defenses, but you see what I'm saying. He can pass. How about we take a look at this one not too long ago against Florida? Another great completion percentage. 23 out of 32, 350 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels is much better than what people are giving him credit for, and I believe that. I believed it 2 weeks ago. And I'll stand on this statement. He will give that Alabama defense problems. Am I saying that LSU is going to pull off the upset and win the game? I don't know about all that. You have to come back for the preview video later tonight. I will say this, though. I believe LSU will put up points. I want to throw this in there, too. I found this rather interesting. Quarterbacks that normally and typically beat or upset Alabama, they take care of the ball. Jaden Daniels on the year has 12 touchdowns to only 1 interception. That's going to be something to keep your eyes on. If he can take care of the ball, make some big-time throws, have some big-time scrambles, you could see the upset. I do believe that is the X factor. It's Jaden Daniels. It's rather simple. You're not going to shut Alabama's offense down. You got to try to keep up with them. It's going to be the same thing like the Tennessee game. If you can keep up with Alabama's offense, you're going to have a chance at the end. I did see some LSU fans bring it up last year where they shut down Alabama's offense, in which they did, and Alabama barely escaped with a win 20-14. All I got to say about that game is it was last year. It's not this year. You got to think about it. Last year, Tennessee sucked, and now they're the #1 team in the country. Well, they didn't suck. They were average, but you get what I'm trying to say. A lot happens in a year. You're not going to see a 20-14 struggle fest like last year in Tuscaloosa. You're going to see some fireworks, and oh yeah, by the way, guess who's making his homecoming? Eli Ricks, the new standout lockdown corner for Alabama. Well, at least he was locked down in his one game against Mississippi State. That'd be interesting to watch. Keep your eyes on that. I know I am, because I just want to see an Alabama defensive player with that dog-like mentality. I wouldn't be mad if Eli Ricks has a pass breakup and he stands over the LSU receiver and taunts him. That's what we need. We need that aggression. Alabama's been lacking that dog-like mentality all throughout this season, and they lacked it last year. That's a tongue twister. Nick Saban has openly expressed that he is concerned and worried about this LSU game. So my question to you guys is, are you concerned? Like always, I'm very curious, so let me know your thoughts down below. My prediction on all of these games will come out later tonight, but right away,